actually going to go in instead of wasting millions of dollars on 40 lawsuits against President Trump and my political enemies. I'm going to actually be enforcing the law. So the legislature is not going to have a problem funding the attorney general when the attorney general is actually doing what they should be doing.
Warren Peterson joining us here on KTAR. He's running for attorney general in the Republican primary. So let me ask you this, and there have been a lot of lawsuits this year by Chris Mays and other state attorney generals against the Trump administration. That happens the other way, too. When Mark Brnovich was the Republican attorney general, he filed all sorts of lawsuits against Joe Biden and his administration. If you're attorney general, are you committing here that you're not going to be filing lawsuits against a Democratic president if a Democrat wins in 2028?
As long as they don't violate the Constitution. Look,
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you, Warren. Chris Mays is saying that President Trump is violating the Constitution, and factually, she's won most of those suits, saying that what he's done has been a violation of the Constitution. So, are you saying it's okay for the Attorney General to sue the president's administration if it's a constitutional violation?
Yeah, what I'm saying is I am for the law. I support the law. I'm going to enforce the law, and so if somebody's not complying with the law, then I'm going to enforce the law.
All right, Warren Peterson with us. Let me ask you something else that came up yesterday, kind of online and social media that you were engaged with, and it was interpreted by some, and I wanted to ask you about it. That if you're attorney general, you are going to go after or prosecute and potentially deport people in Arizona who are here under DACA. In other words, they came into the country illegally as children. They've been given the protection of DACA under the federal government. Are you planning to prosecute or to go after those people and deport them?
Yeah. So if you follow the whole thread, you'll see that is not what was said. It was me saying that Chris Mays was supporting DACA Day, is what she was saying, and saying it was protected by the Constitution. And I was saying that DACA is not found in the Constitution. So then she started to turn that over to Peterson's it was her and the Arizona Mirror that were saying that I would deport DACA. I wasn't talking about that. The issue was, will I enforce the law or not? It goes back to your prior question. The issue is if somebody has broken the law and should be deported, absolutely. Now, obviously, the AG, that's ICE. I was talking about ICE. And I said if somebody breaks the law, then they shouldn't be surprised. And, it comes to the country illegally, they should not be surprised if they are deported by ICE. I didn't say by me, by ICE. Now, so obviously this is what ICE is doing. So I support the law. Now, currently, as you mentioned, there are people who under DACA have protections. So, no, they can't be deported. But if somebody has broken the law, is here illegally, and can be deported, yeah, absolutely, they should be deported. That won't be done by the AG. That'll be done by the federal government. But unless you're working with the federal government under a 287G agreement or something similar to that.
All right. I appreciate you clearing that up because I know that was a big part of the news yesterday. Warren Peterson is joining us. He's the Arizona Senate president. He's running for the Republican nomination to be the attorney general. Let me ask you this. One of the laws that passed last year, actually the people did this, it was a referendum, was the border, I'm going to get the name wrong, the Border Safety Act? No,
Border Security Act.
Thank you. Yeah, the Border Security Act. Thank you.
Yep.
And it was stayed originally. The law said it won't go into effect until a court case coming out of Texas with a similar law was decided. That's been decided now. And I think the Arizona law goes into effect now in July. Can you tell us from a law enforcement perspective, what will this law actually accomplish as far as immigration or illegal immigration in Arizona?
Yeah, so it'll actually allows state law enforcement to enforce federal laws or protect your country from your state from illegal immigration. And there's a process that's put out in the bill, that law enforcement will need to enforce. But you follow this process, and it's similar to working with ICE, but it outright says that law enforcement can take these actions, and then there can be an adjudication, and then they can be handed over for deportation.
And my recollection, and Warren, I know you helped write this law, so you're much more familiar with it than I am. That's why I'm asking. But my recollection was the local law enforcement could only, or Arizona law enforcement could only enforce the federal law if the officer saw someone cross the border illegally. In other words, if someone's in Phoenix and you see somebody you suspect of being an illegal alien at a restaurant, you can't go up and arrest that person because you didn't see them commit the crime of crossing into the country illegally. Do I have that right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So it literally is it's a border security where you actually have evidence of them coming into the country illegally at the border.
So
that's exactly right.
So the only way Arizona law enforcement will engage with this law is if they are at the border and they see someone crossing into Arizona illegally. Otherwise, for example, here in Maricopa County, we're not on the border. Really, no law enforcement in Maricopa County should be involved as far as this law is concerned at all.
Under the Border Security Act, that's correct.
Okay. Warren Peterson is with us, Arizona Senate President. He's running for Attorney General in the Republican primary. Let me ask you, Warren, there's a piece in the Republic today, the Arizona Republic or azcentral.com. I don't even know if you saw it yet, but it talks about that your campaign, an allegation, I guess, that your campaign manager filed a bar complaint against a lawyer in Arizona simply because he wrote an op-ed piece against you. Is there truth to that?
Yeah, so what happened was my opponent got his friend, who's an attorney, who's donated to him twice, to write an op-ed with false information. It clearly states in the bar rules that you cannot, you shouldn't put forward false legal information about a political candidate, and that is exactly what he did. They even said that, they even acknowledged that, but felt like they couldn't, prove it, or they were weak on it. So, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the op-ed is absolutely false. It's wrong legal information, and there's literally lies within it. I mean, as an attorney, you should not be intentionally putting forward incorrect legal information.
Yeah, I'm just always very sensitive to this, and I do remember Attorney General Brnovich was faced with a lot of bar complaints, and it's just a dangerous road to start filing bar complaints against people running for office or in office.
Exactly.
But let me ask you,
it's also dangerous to put forward false legal information as an attorney.
So, well, tell me about the issue underlying it very quickly. I know you graduated from ASU Law School 2.5 years ago or so, and the issue seemed to be that there's a law in Arizona that says if you're going to be the Attorney General, you have to be a lawyer for 5 years. I think that's the basics of it. So how do you get by that?
I graduated 7 years ago. I passed the bar in 2020. Okay, so I passed the bar in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, but I got licensed at a later date. They are referring to a law that talks about the tenure you have to have. The law was ruled unconstitutional.
Okay.
Any competent attorney would know that law is ruled unconstitutional. So that's the first point that they did not make, that they should have made. This has been struck down. The second point is this, and that is that, hold on a second. The second point is this. If the law was true, you had until April 6th to challenge somebody to be on the ballot.
Okay.
Well, that time has passed.
Okay.
So they should have known that. But here's the final thing that they should have known, that is, or that they would do, that is so obvious, which makes the whole thing obvious, that they're just attempting to put forward something that is not true. If it was true that you could knock me off the ballot, my opponent would spend $10,000 right now to knock me off the ballot.
Right.
He wouldn't spend the $3 million that he's spending right now. So he has put forward this op-ed through his friend, who's an attorney, that has a false legal analysis.
I get it.
They know it's a false legal analysis. So that is the issue here.
That was the basis.
It wasn't me. Several people came forward and said there's actually somebody else. You can see it. There's another op-ed that says this person deserves a bar complaint, and there were many other people that came forward pushing for that. So it wasn't me. I didn't file the bar complaint.
It was your campaign manager that filed the bar complaint.
There was absolutely.
Okay.
Ultimately, he decided to file that, but that is the issue. You have somebody who put forward false legal information, knowing they did it. And here's the deal: under another bar, under the prior bar, this would have been taken seriously. Apparently, this current bar doesn't take it seriously, which is, they're not going to follow their own rules.
So just
disturbing on its own.
And just to close it out, the Arizona State Bar looked into it and dismissed the complaint in 11 days. Warren Peterson is with us. He's running.
But Barry, hold on. If you read their response, they basically acknowledge that what he did was wrong.
Warren, I have to tell you, the candidates, in essence, filing bar complaints against each other. I don't know that anybody's that interested in that. But let me just ask you the final question. Warren Peterson's with us. He's running for Attorney General as a Republican here in Arizona. How would your Attorney General's office, if you win, be different than Rodney Glassman's Attorney General's office if he wins?
Well, Rodney Glassman has switched his parties 4 times.
Warren, I'm going to stop you real quick because I've been saying this all morning. I don't want the stump speech. I want you to tell me, what is your Attorney General's office focus going to be? What are you going to be doing? And if you can tell me, how is that different?
That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be different because I'm going to be consistent. He's inconsistent. That's my point.
Okay.
He changes all over the place. So we're going to be fighting. We're going to fight crime. We're going to defend the laws and the Constitution, and we're going to root out fraud and corruption, and we'll be consistent in that. That's how we're going to be different than him. He has been. My point to start, if you'd allowed me to keep going, was that he has been completely inconsistent. He changes his positions all the time. So the difference is I've been consistent for 14 years, and I will remain consistent, and he has been inconsistent.
All right. Thank you very much. Warren Peterson with us, the Senate president here in Arizona, and he's running for Attorney General. I appreciate you taking a few minutes on KTAR. Thank you. All right, there you have it. Warren Peterson was with us. Coming up at 11 o'clock, his opponent in the primary, Rodney Glassman, will join us. And I'm going to ask pretty much the same kind of questions and see what Mr. Glassman has to say as we're considering, in the Republican Party, who to vote for in this primary for Attorney General. Coming up next, we're going to get into a little bit more of the governor's debate last night. Andy Biggs, David Schweikert, and others will tell you what was said and what does it portend for the upcoming gubernatorial election in November. I'm Barry Markson in for Broomhead. It's KTAR.
KTAR News pays tribute to Valley teachers.
Let's give $2,500 to Mr. AC.
Nominate an outstanding teacher for a $2,500 check. Text the word teacher to 620-620 and pay tribute to a teacher. Message and data rates may apply.
All right, K2 Vision RLE. I've been bragging about it to everybody. It is absolutely incredible. It is refractive lens exchange. And I went with Dr. Kopstein at K2 Vision, and I will tell you it's the best medical decision I've made in 30 years. Jokingly, I said if you'd had asked me a month or two ago which I would do first if I had the opportunity, hair replacement or vision, I would have said hair. I'm telling you right now, this RLE has changed my life. And I'm not even done. They're still going to adjust my lenses in a week, and it's going to be even better than it is now. For the first time in over 20 years, or about 20 years, I've been able to see without glasses. It is an incredible change in my life. I want you to see if this is right for you. K2VisionRLE.com. No readers, no glasses, no contacts, and never a cataract. K2VisionRLE.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to you at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
KTAR News Flash. At 10:21, I'm Patricia Valencia. This is what you need to know right now. First-time claims for unemployment slipped last week in line with economists' expectations. 225,000 out-of-work Americans filed their initial applications for state jobless benefits in the week ended June 13th, a decrease of 4,000. The previous week's reading was the highest since February. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. Taking a look at Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 269 points, S&P 500 is up 90 points, and the NASDAQ is in the green, 446. For more money news, visit the Business Center at KTAR.com.
3 o'clock hits and you're dragging. No energy, no drive. Can't remember the last time you made it to the gym? It could be low T, and it happens to most men as we get older. Vital for Men specializes in getting you back. A personalized plan, a team that actually listens. You're not just a number. Schedule your free testosterone test today. Know your numbers. Real men, real results. Visit a Vital for Men location near you and take your life back.
I feel fantastic thanks to Soda. Hi, Joe Huizenga. I'm 25 pounds lighter, and I owe it all to Soda and their dynamic diet. Soda's nutritionists are specially trained to customize a diet to each person. We've all got different food responses, lifestyles, and habits. A one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. Soda's dynamic diet highlights their personalized approach. If you're going on vacation this summer, your Soda nutritionist will be there for you. They can guide you with what to eat while on vacation. They're there to share great food items like steaks, chickens, dips, even alcoholic beverages you can enjoy so you have a great time, maintain your weight, and still have a great vacation. Plus, if you join now, your partner joins for free. 2 people, real accountability for the price of 1. SodaDietNutrition.com. That's SOTA dietnutrition.com, or their phone number, 866-800-SODA. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Is that massive ICE detention center and Surprise staying or going? We'll have the latest tonight at 6 on Arizona's Evening News with Becky Lynn and me on the KTAR YouTube channel, on air, online, and the KTAR app.
All right, here we go, everybody. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson filling in. Thanks for joining us today. And I got to tell you, the gubernatorial debate yesterday, as the Republican primary debate, the winner is going to go up against Governor Katie Hobbs in November, and it was really this is a primary between Andy Biggs and David Schweikert. You may remember last year there was another contender in there that initially had President Trump's endorsement, and that was Karen Taylor Robeson, but she dropped out of the race quite some time ago. And let's be frank, the polling is showing that Andy Biggs has a big lead, and there's a lot of folks who are undecided, so nothing's done yet. It's going to come down to the actual voting. But certainly as it stands right now, Andy Biggs has a big lead. And it was interesting because you didn't see, normally in a case like that, you'd see David Schweikert, who's in second place, and has a good chunk of people supporting him in the polls. You'd see him go after the front runner, right? I mean, if you want to win, if you're behind by a lot and you want to win the primary, you have to go after the front runner. And that doesn't mean you get down in the mud or anything, but you point out the front runner's, things, his voting record. I mean, Andy Biggs has been in Congress for 10 years. We know what he's voted on. We know what he's done. And David Schweikert really didn't do that. It was interesting to me to see that Congressman Schweikert, also been in Congress for a while, did not go after his voting record. He did not talk about differences between the two. He really just, Congressman Schweikert sounds like he does when he comes on the air with us and comes on the air with me. I've interviewed him 100 times, and he got deep in the weeds on certain issues. He loves talking about that stuff. He has a lot of knowledge and information about those issues, but it did not, and some ideas for solutions of problems. But he didn't go after Andy Biggs, with one exception. At the end, Congressman Schweikert said that if you want to win this election, if the Republicans want to win the gubernatorial office back in Arizona, then they need to get somebody who's, and these aren't his words, but you have to get somebody who's not wholly owned by Turning Point. And that is basically what he said, that Andy Biggs is is wholly owned by Turning Point USA, and Turning Point has a lot of power here in Republican politics, if you're not aware of that. And they sought out Andy Biggs to run for governor. They didn't want it to be Karen Taylor Robson for some reason. And that was after President Trump endorsed Robson. He also endorsed Andy Biggs, and that endorsement goes a long way in Arizona politics and around the country. In a Republican primary, if President Trump gives you his endorsement, there's a good chance you're going to win. Not every time. There's been exceptions to that. We saw that in Georgia just this week. But it's very strong, and it certainly is strong here in Arizona. So it's going to be hard for David Schweiker to overcome that. And I think we're looking at Andy Biggs being the nominee. But what Schweiker was pointing out is that we've done this before. We've seen this show because 4 years ago, Turning Point pushed Kari Lake on us. And Karen Taylor Robson was in that primary and lost. And then Kari Lake went on to lose the governor's race against Katie Hobbs. And are we heading back to the same thing? And that's what Schweikert was saying, is that we could be heading right back to the same thing unless the Republican voters in the primary do something different. And I do want to say one other thing about these primaries, Republican and Democrat. These are private primaries. This is not a public election, although we pay for it. These are private political parties that use our tax dollars to hold these primary elections. Why we do this in July in Arizona is beyond me. It makes no sense. And I'd love to see both parties say, we're going to have these primary elections in May when people are still here, when school is still in session, before families start going on vacation or heading out of town. I mean, let's face it, there's an awful lot of people who live in Arizona who are taking an awful lot of time out of state this time of year and through summer. And for us to have our primary election, which is so important, to have that in July when a good number of our people aren't even here to vote, I think is just awful. We should be having these elections earlier. There's really no downside to that. Have the primary 2 months earlier, and then let the people who are actually running for the general election have more time to campaign and inform the public about the differences between the Republican and the Democrat. So that's something else I think we need to work at. All right, coming up, the Iran deal is signed. The president signed it yesterday. We're going to give you the terms of that deal when we get back. What's good for the U.S., what's good for Iran? That's next. It's the Mike Broomhead Show.
When you hear something live on air from Arizona's Morning News, Mike Broomhead, Outspoken, or Arizona's Evening News that you have to hear again, find the clip anytime with archived audio and video content when you've got the app. The KTAR News app is presented by America Roofing.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Arizona lawyer will handle Arizona cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
I don't even know how many friends and neighbors that I've referred America Roofing to. All I do know is that America Roofing was just named Arizona's Roofing Contractor of the Year. Literally the best in the biz for a quarter century now. Home or business, repair or replace, and we've had America Roofing do both at Casa Calvisi. There's a reason why. Jake, Josh, Tracy, and 500 employees statewide are also A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. And right now, at AmericaRoofingCo.com, save 12% at AmericaRoofingCo.com.
Arizona license number 222486.
My name is Frank. I'm a retired Phoenix property crimes and burglary detective.
My name is Roxanne, and this is my daughter, Jacqueline. I have a 6-bedroom home. My husband travels often for work.
Typical burglary entry is done through the easiest form of entry that they can find. If it's just a normal break-in and alarm company is reporting, it may take some time for an officer to get there.
I would definitely call the standard alarm system a false sense of security.
You need to create a deterrent that's other than just an alarm system or locking your house. I found this system with the screens being probably the best security deterrent that I could find.
I actually have the ability now to sleep through the night and not worry when it's just my children and I here with these security screens.
Protect your home, protect your family with the original Bulldog security screens. Get all the details and schedule online at BulldogSecurityScreens.com. That's BulldogSecurityScreens.com. Insist on the Bulldog. Bulldog Security Screens. They're tough.
Howdy, folks. Vince Marotta here. You know, when it comes to elevating your drive, I know just the place to start. Earnhardt Lexus. My friend and general manager, Bull Earnhardt, and his team at Earnhardt Lexus on Camelback make the whole experience easy. And honestly, that's how it's supposed to be. You see, the Earnhardt family has been doing business in Arizona the same way since 1951, when Bull's grandfather, Tex Earnhardt, built the dealership on a simple idea. Treat the customers the way you treat your own family. That tradition has driven everything they do for 75 years. And what started then is still happening now. Built on ensuring comfort, kindness, and earning your trust. Amazing luxury vehicles and incredible value. Treating every guest like family and creating happy customers for life. It's why so many Arizonans keep coming back. So swing by Earnhardt Lexus and experience amazing. Experience the no bull Earnhardt difference at 8th Street in Camelback or shop online at EarnhardtLexus.com.
Hi, I'm Stuart Willis, President of Asset Preservation Wealth and Tax. Will your investments last throughout retirement? Do you have a retirement strategy to minimize your long-term taxes? If not, tune into Arizona's own Asset Preservation Hour right here on KTAR Sundays at 2 p.m. What should you do about the current economic conditions? Stay informed and stay tuned into the Asset Preservation Hour Sundays at 2 p.m. on KTAR.
Investment advisory services offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
KTAR News now.
Good morning. It's 10:33. I'm Patricia Valencia. After months of conflict, the United States and Iran have signed a 14-point memorandum of understanding that extends a ceasefire between the two countries. ABC's Stephen Portnoy joined Arizona's Morning News to explain what exactly is in the memorandum.
It frees up Iran to sell oil in the global marketplace. It creates, over time, a $300 billion fund for development in Iran. It has the U.S. over time unfreezing assets, and it has Iran reaffirming it will not procure or develop nuclear weapons.
The president formally signed the deal while attending the G7 summit in France. The vice president is expected to sign it today. And the Rock Canyon and Dellenbaugh fires continue to burn in northern Arizona today, but so far this year, the damage from the new wildfires has been manageable. Former KTAR reporter and wildfire expert Jim Cross joined Arizona's Morning News and says the efforts to avoid sparking fires from everyday residents of Arizona is making the biggest impact.
People are being careful. That's a lot of it. There have been a few human-caused fires, which is never good, but we've had plenty of fires around the state, but they've jumped on them quick.
Other factors he attributed to the mild season so far include a low number of spring storms bringing lightning strikes and immediate efforts to extinguish the new sparks. An agreement between two East Valley towns hoping to make water levels a bit more steady. Adam Schoombs with our TV partners at ABC 15 has the details.
The agreement would let the town of Queen Creek pump and deliver water Gilbert previously stored underground if and when it's needed. The interconnection is designed as an emergency backstop triggered by drought or a significant cut to Arizona's Colorado River allocation. It would also help maintain water pressure across Gilbert's distribution system. Queen Creek says the deal doesn't touch its own groundwater. The water being recovered already belongs to Gilbert. The Queen Creek partnership is one piece of a larger strategy. Gilbert is also drilling new wells and asking residents to conserve water this summer.
And with school being out for the summer, many kids may face the reality of not having breakfast or lunch. Chief Programs Officer at St. Mary's Food Bank, Marcos Guasin, tells Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos of the programs that St. Mary's uses to help families during the summer.
Our big driver is meals. We do about 3,500 meals a day. We've got about 80 sites around the valley, and then we use this freeze and thaw model to get those meals also up to the reservation and the northern counties.
He says that food insecurity affects 1 in 5 kids statewide. You can support our Outspoken Against Hunger campaign this month by texting the word food to 620-620. Every $1 you donate helps provide 5 meals to those in need. And now for a check on traffic from the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Watch for a crash in the West Valley. It's going to be eastbound I-10 at the 99th Avenue off-ramp. And also watch for a crash clearing in Scottsdale, 64th Street and Thomas. And medical units are on the scene of a 2-in-1 medical crash at Gilbert Road and Williams Field Road. This traffic update is brought to you by Day and Night Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Make sure your AC can keep up. Get a $79 tune-up. The offer ends this month. dayandnightair.com. Conditions apply. Mostly sunny for today, 107 for that high. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have highs around 105. It's going to be hot. 91 degrees in Peoria. Triple-digit heat, zero stress. Homes 2X will buy your home on demand with a 100% full value guarantee, and you can stay rent-free. Sell your home at homes2x.com. I'm Patricia Valencia on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
The Mike Broomhead Show, KTAR News 92.3, and the KTAR News app.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson filling in, and thanks for being here on a Thursday. Tomorrow's Juneteenth. Hopefully, folks may have the day off, a little 3-day weekend, and it's a little warm outside. So it came up on us kind of fast, it seems like to me, but it got hot. Hey, the Iran war is over. President Trump signed an agreement with Iran yesterday. It's a 14-point agreement. And I want to go over some of these terms because it's out there now. And I just have to tell you, I'm somebody who supported President Trump in going to war with Iran. I thought and still think that Iran is a bad actor on the world stage, bad actor in the Middle East, and frankly, an enemy of the United States. And I think that doing what we can to, if we could have changed the regime, which is what President Trump said initially was our goal, if we could have changed the regime and taken out and removed their nuclear capabilities and the ballistic missiles and the stuff that we went in there to do originally, I was a big supporter of that. I think that's worth it. And I'm not somebody who's a warmonger. I'm not here saying, let's send our troops into battle. That is not where I am. And I'll be frank with you, and I just said this to my wife yesterday, you know, there have been 13 service members that were killed in this war with Iran, and I don't know how many, countless others that have been injured, and many injured severely. And we never talk about those who are injured and how that changes their lives and their families' lives. But I said, can you imagine if you're the parents or the spouse or the children of one of these 13 service members who lost their life in this war, and at the end you're just saying, why? And that's what was in my mind yesterday when we learned the details of this agreement, because we got nothing. I can't figure out from looking at this. I'm trying to do this in a way. Again, I supported the war. I went on the face-off with Gatos and argued with Gatos about it. I was a supporter of this war. I thought it was a good idea. But what's happened now, and the lack, I think, of planning and anticipation of what was going to happen, everybody knew Iran was going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm not saying I knew that. We all knew that. But U.S. military knew that. The Pentagon knew that. Intelligence knew that. The president was told that. And I think he thought it would be finished before that. I think he thought we were going to go in there and decapitate the leadership, and that they would have either the people would rise up or new people would take over who would have a better attitude toward the United States. And I think he thought that because that's what's happened in Venezuela, right? We went in there, we took Maduro out, and the next people in line after Maduro came in and became friendly to the United States. They looked at it and said, well, I'm not going to be the next one. I'm going to listen to what Trump wants, and let's try to make this work. And that's what they're doing. And it's great. And I think what President Trump was thinking is, let's do the same thing in Iran. But the fact is, Iran's a completely different animal than Venezuela. Iran has 94 million people. It has huge oil reserves. It's an Islamic ideological regime. It's a different setup, and they have millions of their own people who are tied into and profit from that regime. It wasn't going to go away because it's one guy at the top making all the money. And the intelligence knew that. There's a reason that Biden didn't do it, and Obama didn't do it, and George Bush didn't do it, and Clinton didn't do it. Reagan didn't do it. This has been going on for decades. Every president has looked at how can we go in there and change Iran. And nobody's done it because the intelligence reports would always say the same thing. They're going to close the Strait of Hormuz, and this isn't going to be an easy thing. So when President Trump did this, I thought he must have a plan. Let's see what happens. And I was a supporter. The way this has ended up is not good. And what you're hearing this from conservative Trump-supporting Republican senators. You're hearing it from everybody. This is an awful deal. It's a 14-point deal, and the first thing it does is that they stop fighting, and they terminate all military operations, and then they're gonna deal with the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to open the strait, and the United States is going to end its blockade on Iranian ships and their ports, which opens that up. And then the United States is ending all sanctions against Iran. Now, I want to make sure you understand this. This isn't just sanctions from like right now in this war. We've had sanctions against Iran for decades. This has been going on forever, always some level of sanctions. President Trump actually instituted tougher sanctions in his first term and again now. He's lifting all of them. So now Iran gets to trade its oil at normal prices. Iran was selling oil before, but because of U.S. sanctions and the rest of the world had to sell it, in essence, on the black market at a discount. They don't have to do that anymore. Iran has already said, and people have estimated, they're going to make $60 billion a year in revenue off oil sales now, which is way more than they were doing before. They've lifted sanctions on other things, banking sanctions, things that kept Iran in a box and kept their economy in a tough position, which, again, that's what leverage is. We had leverage over Iran. Because of our blockade that President Trump instituted, there was huge leverage. Their economy was in free fall. I don't know how much longer they could have lasted. Why we gave up now, why Trump ended this now, I don't know. But that by itself, just the sanction relief by itself, is going to be a huge thing for Iran, and it's going to be a huge flood of money. Also, upon signing this agreement, which happened yesterday, we are to give them $24 billion of their money that's been frozen. Now, that's not U.S. dollars. We're not paying them tax dollars. But understand, this is the same thing Obama did. If you didn't like what Obama did in 2015 with the JCPOA, and I didn't like that agreement either, by the way. I didn't think that was secure enough. I didn't think it would keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon forever. But we gave Iran $1.6 billion of its own money after that, and people lost their minds. You would have thought we were in there with Iran paying for terrorist groups to be operating in the Middle East. And now we're literally allowing Iran to have their $24 billion, 15 times, 16 times more money going to Iran, which is incredible. So it's a huge amount of money going to flood into the Iran system right away to prop up this regime. We're not doing it. That's going to make them stronger. We're doing that right away. There's an agreement here that the United States is going to figure out how to get them $300 billion to help rebuild and to do things, a lot of stuff we blew up. But we're giving them $300 billion. By the way, not giving that money to the families that lost service members in this war, not giving that money to our Arab neighbors or Israel. $300 billion to Iran, which is our enemy. I don't understand how this makes any sense. It makes no sense at all. The rest of the terms on here, when you say, what did the United States get from this? Literally the only thing is the Strait of Hormuz opens. That's it. And President Trump has said yesterday that one of the reasons he looked at this is he didn't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. And Trump is always worried about Trump. And whether you support Trump or not, you have to acknowledge it's all about Trump. And Trump doesn't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. He didn't want to be the president that led us into a depression. And again, I'm for that. We don't need a depression. But we were kind of doing okay. I'm not saying inflation's bad. It's been hard on people. I'm not saying we're in a great place right now. But let's understand, employment is up. Or unemployment is actually better than we expected. Although inflation was up, was okay. The stock market's up. Gas prices were already coming down. There are things that could have been done here a little bit longer, and maybe Iran would have caved and we would have gotten more. Instead, Trump's deal, we get nothing, and we've given up all of our leverage. Any leverage we had over Iran is now gone. All we have left is we could bomb them again, and Trump has shown he's not going to do that. We've lost all leverage. All right, coming up, another war has been going on in Ukraine, and I want to give you an update on this because things have changed. It's gone a long way from when Ukraine didn't hold any cards. They hold some cards now. I'm going to tell you something that happened yesterday. Stay with us. I'm Barry Markson, in for Mike Broomhead. It's KTAR.
Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos.
Megan McCain is joining us. What do you make of the U.S.-Iran memo of understanding, end of the war, peace deal?
I've been confused. I am confused. I also am just very confused by the president saying that it's been docu-signed. Like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah. Electronically signed, yeah.
What does that mean? I just feel like we're dealing with terrorists, and they probably don't quite
do they use
care one way or the other.
They had to sign up for it. Can you imagine the Iranian, the mullahs, like, yeah, how do you sign up for DocuSign? We got to figure this out.
Outspoken, weekday afternoons 2 till 6. Watch Outspoken on the KTAR YouTube channel and listen on 92.3, KTAR.com, and the KTAR News app.
Hey, it's Mike Broomhead for Trajan Wealth, and another reason why I like Jeff Jr. and the team at Trajan Wealth is what is normally reserved for the ultra-wealthy is available to people like you and me. And that is having your estate planning, your tax planning, and your retirement planning all under one roof. They have experts in every one of these areas, and they make sure that you are protected, working together so you're paying as little in taxes, making as much on your money, and your estate is secure. They do an excellent job. They do better than anybody I've ever worked with, and it's another reason why I recommend you contact Trajan Wealth. Please make the call. 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-872-5261 or TrajanWealth.com. TRAJAN Wealth.com. Advisory service through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. I'm an actual client. Paid advertisement and additional disclosures are at TrajanWealth.com. That's TrajanWealth.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Smith with Oliver Smith Jeweler, a local family business started by my dad, Oliver Smith, right here in the Valley. Dad, you've been importing diamonds and cutting out the middleman for decades. How did that change things?
Well, we dropped the price, but not the quality. By importing diamonds and manufacturing jewelry ourselves, we cut out the middleman and passed about a 35% savings directly to our clients. We sell almost all of our diamonds with GIA certifications because that's how you create value. And value and trust are the cornerstones of our business.
Shopping for jewelry can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Whether it's an engagement ring, anniversary gift, tennis bracelet, or diamond studs, we make the process easy and personal. Trust Oliver Smith Jeweler.
We have some of the best diamond prices in the country, and we are right here in your backyard.
Come experience why Oliver Smith Jeweler does diamonds differently. Visit us in Scottsdale at the Shops at Gainey Village and in Fashion Square Mall.
Scorpions don't hate you. Ain't got the brains for hate. What they got is a tail full of bad intentions. Been living in this desert since the dirt was new. Think they got squatters' rights to your laundry basket.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Scorpions may have squatters' rights to the desert, but not to your property. Call 602 Blue Sky today. Real pest science, real protection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, Scorpions.
Hi, it's Lisa Lund with Lund Mortgage. Here's the truth about home loans. You shouldn't have to choose between sharp pricing and a name you can trust. At Lund Mortgage, you get both. Some of the most competitive rates and fees in the industry from a local name that's been here for decades. And right now, when you buy a home with Lund Mortgage, we will cover your appraisal cost, and your first year rate buydown is on us. So whether you're buying, refinancing, or tapping into your equity, we're ready to help. Give us a call or go to lundmortgage.com.
Terms and conditions apply.
KTAR News Flash.
At 10:49, I'm Patricia Valencia, and this is what you need to know right now. New details on the ceasefire deal with Iran. Under the deal, Iran and the country of Oman will administer the strait. The waterway will reopen toll-free, but it's unclear if that will hold when the 60 days runs out. In return for reopening the strait, Iran will see immediate financial relief. And the U.S. Forest Service has shut down an area in the Tonto National Forest burning north of Globe and west of the U.S. 60. So far, the sycamore fire has burned some 1,600 acres and is at 0% containment. The Forest Service says that this section of the forest will stay closed until mid-July. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Celebrate Father's Day at the D-backs game on Sunday, June 21st. The first 15,000 dads to the game will get a Father's Day polo. Get your tickets at dbacks.com.
The Mike Broomhead Show, KTAR News 92.3, and the KTAR News app.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson filling in for Mike. He's got to take a little day off here. Every once in a while, they make him take a day off. He never wants to take a day off. And Patricia's here as well. And I don't know if you've been noticing this. I actually saw this yesterday and this morning. And the Ukraine war, and we haven't. This has not been on front of mind, I think, for a lot of us in the United States. We go back to last year when President Trump went with the president of Ukraine and said, you don't have the cards. And the United States has been in that position where we're just not supporting Ukraine the way we did at the beginning of that war when Russia attacked Ukraine. But Europe has kind of stepped up, and Ukraine, frankly, they're really pretty amazing, right? I mean, when Russia first attacked Ukraine, we all thought, well, this is going to take a few days. I mean, President Trump has said that. This is going to take a few days, it'll be over. Not only did Russia not just roll in and take over the country, Ukraine forced them back, and their resilience has been amazing. And now Ukraine has developed an incredible ability to build these drones that they use in militarily and other things. And without the United States putting constraints on Ukraine, for the first time, and this is what happened yesterday, Ukraine is sending drones and things into Russia. And yesterday they blew up a refinery in Moscow, right in Moscow. And the Russians are able to shoot down a lot of the drones, but obviously a bunch of them got through. There was smoke billowing up from a side of one of the sides of Russia. And that is where they kind of build, they make oil and gas, they refine the oil. And that is going to shut down a flow of money for Russia and showing that Ukraine can do that. Now, the interesting thing for me is when Russia, when the United States was giving weapons and money and support to Ukraine early on, it came with a lot of stipulations, right? They were not allowed to shoot anything into Russia. They could be defensive, but they couldn't be offensive into Russia. And that's hard, right? Because if Russia's coming in and blowing up your cities, and Putin is literally launching missiles and killing innocent civilians in Kyiv and other cities, but you're not allowed to go back. Well, now Ukraine is attacking in Russia. They're attacking military objectives, but they're doing it, and they're attacking oil objectives. And what you're seeing now is a Russia that is on its heels. And I don't think we're paying enough attention to this. Ukraine is pushing. There's not a huge change, but Russia is not moving forward in Ukraine. They're not getting any more territory. And Russia is losing tens of thousands of soldiers every day. And the amount of men who are dying, Russian men who are dying in this war has been catastrophic. It is just a huge amount of people, and Putin won't stop. And what I'm hoping now, and President Trump said this yesterday, is that with the Iran war over, he can reinstitute those sanctions onto Russian oil so they can't sell oil and get the revenue that they've been getting. And I'm hoping, coming out of the G7 meeting he just had with European leaders, that perhaps he starts to apply some pressure on Putin to say, hey, Vladimir, this isn't going that well for you. Maybe let's talk about peace. And this may be the time to do that. So very interesting things happening, but the blowing up of a refinery just in Moscow, the attacks and the drones that Ukraine is able to do in Moscow now, it's showing the vulnerability that Russia has. And frankly, this drone warfare, it's going to be a thing that for everybody now. I mean, anybody can get these drones. They're cheap, they're effective, they're hard to defend against. It's going to be a whole nother area of technology and equipment that's going to need to be made where suddenly you don't need ballistic missiles, which there's technology that can shoot that down. We've seen that with the Israeli Iron Dome and the other types of software. But now with these drones, anybody anybody can be a power, and that's going to start to be an issue for us for sure. All right, coming up, and this is going to start to get interesting. We're doing a deconstructed Arizona Republican Attorney General primary debate today. Rather than have Rodney Glassman and Warren Peterson in the room together, we're doing it separate. So we had Warren Peterson on at 10 o'clock. We asked him some tough questions and learned some answers about why he wants to be Attorney General and how he'd handle some issues. Rodney Glassman, who's running against him in this primary, is going to join us now live in studio here right after the news at 11. And I'm going to ask him some of those questions. Why is he running for Attorney General? What is he going to do with the DACA recipients that it became an issue yesterday, whether we're deporting and the Attorney General will move to deport or prosecute DACA people in Arizona? We're going to ask some of those questions of Rodney Glassman next and give everybody in the Republican Party or independents who are voting in this primary the opportunity to learn more about the primary candidates. So I'm Barry Marks and in for Broomhead. That's coming up right after the news. Patricia standing by in the KTAR News Center. We're going to get you an update. And then Rodney Glassman's going to be here. And then after that, more going on, more information on this Iran deal. That's the big news of the day. The United States signs a peace deal with Iran, an extension of the ceasefire, and we'll see where that goes. Stay with us, folks. It's KTAR.
Hey, it's Jim Sharp, and one of the best decisions I ever made was when I went to K2 Vision RLE. It's why I want you to choose them if you've ever considered RLE, refractive lens exchange. But first, if you don't know what K2 Vision RLE can do for you, let me explain. If you struggle with distance vision and you also need a pair of reading glasses with an arm's length at all times because your arms aren't long enough now to hold your phone where you can read it, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution. And you'll never have to worry about getting a cataract. K2 Vision RLE is quick, painless, and could have you seeing perfectly without glasses or readers the very next day. And trust me, never having to worry about readers, well, that's amazing. So, are you ready to start spending your good active years not hassling with changing prescriptions or needing readers? Are you done with glasses? K2 Vision RLE could give you great vision now permanently. And since the doctors at K2 Vision have performed 150,000 lens procedures, they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix.
Empty slogans and cute jingles, lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
It's Gatos. GLP start for free at Red Mountain Weight Loss. For a limited time, they've waived the startup fee on all programs. You'll get lower prices than the big telehealth companies with no hidden fees. A specialized diet plan to help you succeed and expert care from real doctors. Get the care you deserve at a price you can afford. Come and see them in person. Book your consultation from the comfort of your own home or office via telemed, and they'll ship your medication directly to your door. Get started for free. Only at redmountainweightloss.com.
KTAR News now.
Good morning. Coming up on 11 o'clock, I'm Patricia Valencia.
Eyes on Education.
Arizona Republican candidates for governor debated the state's controversial school voucher program last night before the primary election on July 21st. KTAR education reporter Shira Tanzer is live with what each of them said.
Yeah, Patricia, all four candidates voiced support for the ESA program, which allows families to use education tax dollars for alternative education. Current Arizona Representative David Schweiker called education choice the future of Arizona, while Representative Andy Biggs wants to expand the program.
One thing we found is if there's a fraud, the reason that you're hearing about it is because they're catching people if they fraudulently use ESAs. There's also tremendous fraud in the traditional system that we have to come in and find out and get that and stop that.
Scott Neely says although he supports ESAs, the program does need some accountability. Ken Maselli says trade schools are the bridge between school choice and supporting public education. Live in the news center, Shira Tanzer, KTAR News.
To sign up for KTAR's education newsletter, text EDUCATION to 620-620. The United States and Iran have agreed on a 14-point memorandum of understanding that would extend the ceasefire between the two countries. The memorandum says Iran will never have a nuclear weapon and commits to $300 billion fund for the economic development of the country. But is it a good deal for both sides? ABC's Stephen Portnoy joined Arizona's Morning News to explain why the president thinks this deal is a victory for the world.
It will avoid what he calls an economic catastrophe. He says that could happen. He says he doesn't want to be the late, great Herbert Hoover, president in 1929 at the start of the Great Depression.
The president formally signed the deal while attending the G7 summit in France. And yesterday, Attorney General Chris Mays expressed disappointment with the recently passed state budget.
Mays says funding for law enforcement was cut by 2.5% in the new budget. She says these are not the actions of a pro-law enforcement legislature.
You can't say that you're pro-law enforcement if you pass a budget that cuts law enforcement. And you can't say you're pro-law enforcement if you pass a budget that doesn't increase their already depleted ranks.
Mays says legislators are more interested in giving billionaires and companies tax cuts than funding Arizona's law enforcement. Skylar Love, KTAR News.
Earlier this week, rescue crews were dispatched to South Mountain Park and Preserve, where they found an unresponsive male about a mile up the trail. The man could not be resuscitated, and rescue helicopter was used to remove his body from the mountain. Authorities today are saying the man was 78-year-old Michael Jules Goldberg, who died from an apparent medical event. The Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office will make the final determination about his cause of death, but as of now, there are no signs of foul play. And newly approved regulations aim to protect valley pets from the brutal Arizona heat. Colton Krolak is live with more.
Yeah, Patricia, the new rules approved by the Phoenix City Council last night include changes to how pet owners can tether their dogs. While it has been illegal for owners to tie their pets up outside during extremely hot or cold days, now it's also illegal to leave dogs chained up without supervision at any time or any weather. Phoenix Police Sergeant Milo Kaufman has seen the consequences far too often.
I've seen many cases where animals can get tied up in their tether and hang themselves. So by requiring the owner to maintain observation of their animal, we could hopefully prevent
Shades to your smartphone, your smart device with motorized shades from Southwest Blinds. Go to southwestblinds.com. And today, mostly sunny with a high of 107. And the rest of the weekend is looking pretty warm as well, with highs around 105, 97 degrees in Scottsdale. Triple-digit heat, zero stress. Homes 2X will buy your home on demand with a 100% full value guarantee, and you can stay rent-free. Sell your home at homes2x.com. I'm Patricia Valencia on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
The Mike Broomhead Show. KTAR News 92.3 and the KTAR News app.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Barry Markson in for Broomhead. 5 meals for just $1. It's that simple. Bruce and Gatos need your help reaching 500,000 meals for St. Mary's Food Bank. Text food to 620-620 right now. Be outspoken against hunger. All right, joining us in studio right now, we're doing the deconstructed Attorney General's debate. It's the Republican primary for Attorney General. I'm calling it deconstructed because I'm bringing you in separately. So we had Warren Peterson on at 10 o'clock. He's running against Rodney Glassman, and Rodney's in studio with us now.
Thank you for having me, Barry.
Thanks for being here on KTAR. All right, you're running for Attorney General. Let me ask you first off, what will the difference be if you're Attorney General and what the Attorney General's office will be like compared to if Warren Peterson wins and he wins the election in November? What is the difference between how the Attorney General's office will operate between the two of you?
When I'm the Attorney General, instead of my Republican primary opponent, the Attorney General's office will be led by someone who has worked for nearly 20 years as a practicing attorney, Barry. It's experience. As you know, I'm a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force JAG Corps. I'm a reservist now at Luke. I've been a prosecutor for over 17 years. I've prosecuted drug dealers and financial crimes and protected victims of sexual assault. Now, when I go out to Luke and put on my uniform, I run the active duty legal office. So the Attorney General's office with 400 attorneys and 1,000 support staff will be led by someone who has led attorneys in a law office. Additionally, Barry, as you know, I'm a private sector attorney. I was a commercial litigator and a corporate attorney for companies and businesses in town. Now I'm a plaintiff's attorney. So I'm the only Republican running who has fed my family for decades working for strangers who pay me with their own money to be their attorney. So it's about experience and it's about leadership that's relevant to the job that I am applying for.
So let me ask you, and I know this has been an issue in the race. Warren Peterson, when I spoke with him earlier, he passed. He graduated from law school. I think he said in 2020, and he passed the bar, and then didn't license for more recently. But
he wouldn't tell you when he got his law license. Well, it was December of 23. He's had his law license for 28 months. He's never never practiced.
But at the end of the day, what is? And I'm serious about this question. I'm going to ask the question. But what is the difference? I mean, it is a law in Arizona. You have to be a practicing or a lawyer for 5 years before you run. But he's passed the bar and done that. The Attorney General, let's be frank. I mean, Mark Brnovich, Chris Mays, they're not in court. They're not trying cases. They're not doing that. Isn't it really more what you just mentioned? Isn't it more managing the office and running the policies and here's how we're going to be?
It's about leadership, Barry. It's about leading attorneys. It's about hiring and firing attorneys. As you know, President Trump won Arizona by over 5%. But we have a liberal Democrat who's sued the Trump administration 42 times. So I'm running to protect Arizona's cops, Arizona's kids, and Arizona's prosperity. That's why the Maricopa County Sheriff is chairing my campaign, Jerry Sheridan, because he wants to have someone who has actually worked as a career prosecutor protecting law enforcement. That's why the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Horn, the former Attorney General, is chairing my campaign because most Arizonans don't realize the Department of Education doesn't have any attorneys. They're all assistant attorney generals. The Department of Real Estate, 60,000 realtors in Arizona. The crazy Katie Hobbs appoints the real estate commissioner, but the real estate commissioner gets no attorneys. They're all assistant attorney generals. So my job as attorney general will be to lead the 400 attorneys and 1,000 support staff who are providing all the legal services for every state agency. Right. And Barry, you'd never go to a dentist that had never worked in someone's mouth before.
All right.
And so this is crazy.
The Attorney General's office is the biggest law firm in Arizona, and there's a lot there. So let me ask you this. One of the issues that came up yesterday, it was Warren Peterson was arguing with Chris Mays, the current Attorney General, about DACA recipients, and he cleared it up for us today. Initially,
he was disingenuous with you today because what he said today on the radio isn't what he put in his Twitter account. He said he was going to toss out people that were here with DACA.
That's not what he said. He said on Twitter that he would enforce the law and that he would prosecute people who are in the country illegally, which you can argue includes people who came to the country illegally. You can argue includes DACA, but they're now here legally. There's a Supreme Court order that allows DACA people to be protected under that executive order. So I guess my question for you is the same one I had for him. If you're Attorney General, are you going to prosecute or try to deport or go after DACA protected people in the state of Arizona?
Enforcing immigration law through the courts is a federal issue. That's done by the federal government. That's done by the Department of Justice. When Warren Peterson's tweeting about it, it's because he's trying to pander to people that don't understand what the federal government does, what the Attorney General at the federal level does, and what the state Attorney General does. The state Attorney General in the state of Arizona enforces Arizona laws. The role for the Attorney General, when I'm Attorney General, will be to make sure that if someone gets pulled over with probable cause, that they are asked for their citizenship and that they're detained for the feds to be able to come and do their job. So that's the role. There's roles.
So my question is, if you're Attorney General, will you use the resources of the Attorney General's office to go after people protected currently under DACA?
Based on the current laws, the Attorney General for the state of Arizona cannot prosecute people for being here illegally. And anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't understand the law. But that comes from a guy, Warren Peterson, who's never prosecuted anything. He was an intern in law school, and that's the only time he ever appeared in court over 5 years ago. Never had his license. It's insane to think that we as Republicans and as conservatives would put someone up to run against Chris Mays, who's never been a lawyer.
Do you have, if you're Attorney General, do you have any intention of actually going into court and trying cases or presenting appeals or things like that?
If I need to. The reality is at the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C., there are experts that you hire to go in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. My Republican primary opponent, Warren Peterson, goes and gives speeches to the grassroots talking about the time that he went to the Supreme Court, but he omits the fact that he was sitting in the audience watching the arguments. My opponent literally has never filed a lawsuit as a lawyer, has never prosecuted a criminal as a lawyer. Barry, I say it's the equivalent of me going and getting a haircut a few weeks ago and then traveling the state describing myself as a barber. I will lead the office. I will hire and fire attorneys. I will set the tone. But the reason I'll be able to do that is because I have the experience of arguing in front of members before, of leading voir dire, of filing lawsuits.
Rodney Glassman is here. He's running for Attorney General in the Republican primary for Arizona. We had Warren Peterson in earlier. It's kind of our deconstructed debate today. What would be the priority of your Attorney General's office? What would be the number one or number two things that you'd have your office doing?
On day one as Attorney General, I will withdraw Arizona from the 42 clickbait lawsuits that Chris Mays has filed against the Trump administration, and I will have the power to rescind the political indictments that Chris Mays has made against Republicans across the country simply for supporting President Trump. And then, frankly, Barry...
Stop. I'm going to ask you a question now.
Okay.
So you're saying that the people who were accused by the Attorney General of trying to overthrow the vote of the election in 2020... you're saying you're going to dismiss the criminal complaints against them.
Mays.
Why are you? No.
Because
why are
they
you going to do
did
that?
not break the law. Those are politically charged indictments. That's why they've already been thrown out once.
What investigation have you done to determine whether they What investigation have you done to determine whether or not they broke the law?
Chris Mays did no investigation.
Chris Mays
campaigned in 22 on indicting those people. And there's been judges that have thrown out those indictments, and Chris Mays just did a press release a week ago saying she's going to indict them again, Barry.
Because it was a technical decision by the courts that for a technical legal reason, not that the substance of the allegations were incorrect. Are any of the lawsuits that Chris Mays has brought against the Trump administration, and by the way, Attorney General Brnovich, who's Republican, filed all sorts of lawsuits against the Biden administration, but are any of the lawsuits that Chris Mays brought against the Trump administration correct in that the Trump administration was violating constitutional rights?
Every single time that Chris Mays files a lawsuit, goes on TV, talks about shooting ICE agents, talks about how landlords...
None of this is my question, Rodney. I'm going to ask it again. Are any of the lawsuits that she brought...
Every single lawsuit that Chris Mays has brought against the Trump administration is suspect because when she ran for Attorney General, she campaigned on suing the Trump administration.
But why would you say... Hang on a second. So why would you say you're going to immediately on day one dismiss all of them when you don't know? Well, you can't answer me if any of them are constitutionally. She's won most of these suits, so she's arguing to the courts, and the court is agreeing with Arizona that there was a constitutional violation here. Do you think that any administration, Republican or Democrat, should be allowed to violate the Constitution?
If Arizonans want to have a liberal Democrat building a resistance resume as their Attorney General, then they should stick with Chris Mays. If they want to nominate a Republican who can defeat her and work collaboratively with the administration, work on protecting cops and kids instead of just suing cops, suing kids, filing lawsuits so that biological boys can compete against girls, which is the insanity that Chris Mays is using this office for, then they should nominate Warren Peterson because he'll lose to Chris Mays because he has zero experience as a lawyer.
All right, Rodney Glassman is with us. I appreciate you taking some time out and being here with us today. He's running for Attorney General in the state of Arizona, the Republican primary. That the mail-in ballots are coming here in, I guess, the next week. We're going to start seeing mail-in ballots. The election's in July. Do you support mail-in ballots in Arizona?
I support the law. The law is with mail-in ballots, but we need to educate your listeners that if they're a registered independent in the state of Arizona, they can request a Republican ballot so that they can vote Rodney Glassman for Attorney General.
There you go. Rodney Glassman, thank you for being here on KTAR. All right, coming up, it's Did You Hear This? We'll have the biggest news stories of the day and give you some comments. That's coming up next. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson.
KTAR News pays tribute to Valley teachers.
So we partnered with your Valley Toyota dealers. We wanted to come into your classroom, just take a couple quick minutes, and give your teachers some money.
Nominate an outstanding teacher for a $2,500 check. Text the word teacher to 620-620 and pay tribute to a teacher. Message and data rates may apply.
Utility rates on the front of everybody's mind. We pay more. And in the summer months when it's hot outside, we pay even more. It can break the bank. But what can you do about it? I would say to you, old windows and old doors in your home can be the culprit. Window World of Phoenix. You got to get with them. They use solar zone windows, which is just nerd talk for keeping the heat outside where it belongs. A massive reduction in your power bills is possible. Also, keep the noise outside where it belongs. But the reason I say Window World is because it's the highest quality product and it's installed the right way. They come with a real, honest, lifetime guarantee. They want to make sure that you are a happy customer because the vast majority of their customers come from happy referrals. Great, locally owned. They give back to their community. They are charitable. They are honest. And they're going to give you an honest price up front with no gimmicks. WindowWorldPhoenix.com. Make an appointment and get started. WindowWorldPhoenix.com. Window World. Simply the best for definitely less.
The big box testosterone franchises want to squeeze you in on their schedule. Vital for Men is different. We're Arizona's original men's health clinic, open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and we accept most insurance. Personalized care, by men, for men. And right now, your first testosterone test is completely free. Stop settling. Call Vital for Men or visit vitalformen.com today. Vital for Men, where Arizona men go to get their edge back.
For 20 years, Sun Valley Solar has been a trusted name for Arizona homeowners, helping families save money and power their homes with confidence. To celebrate their 20th anniversary, they're giving back in a big way. One lucky homeowner will receive a Tesla Powerwall 3. That means backup power, energy independence, and peace of mind from the Valley's most trusted solar company. Enter May 30th through June 28th at sunvalleysolar.com/Powerwall giveaway.
KTAR News Flash.
At 11:17, I'm Patricia Valencia. This is what you need to know right now. The U.S. Forest Service has shut down an area of the Tonto National Forest burning north of Globe and west of the U.S. 60. So far, the Sycamore Fire has burned some 1,600 acres and is 0% contained. The Forest Service says that section of the forest will stay closed until mid-July. In Ukraine overnight, launching a big new attack on Russia. That's according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. A wave of Ukrainian drones hit a major oil refinery there for a second time this week. Russia says the air defenses intercepted more than 500 drones across the country overnight. President Zelensky called this a fully justified attack after Russia unleashed ballistic missiles on Kyiv this week. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. And taking a look at Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 144 points, S&P 500 is up 75 points, and the NASDAQ is in the green, 404. For more money news, visit the Business Center at KTAR.com.
Scorpions don't hate you. Ain't got the brains for hate. What they got is a tail full of bad intentions. Been living in this desert since the dirt was new. Think they got squatters' rights to your laundry basket.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Scorpions may have squatters' rights to the desert, but not to your property. Call 602 Blue Sky today. Real pest science, real protection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, Scorpions.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Strong values, strong opinions. The Mike Broomhead Show. KTAR News 92.3 and the KTAR News app.
All right, it's Did You Hear This on the Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson sitting in. We bring you the biggest headlines of the day and some commentary. Patricia's here to stump me. It's Did You Hear This?
Did you hear this? Broomhead reacts to today's hottest news stories.
Okay, so we're learning new details on the ceasefire deal with Iran, parts of it appearing to be a far cry from the unconditional surrender President Trump vowed that he would achieve at the start of the war. Here's a little bit more from ABC's Mary Bruce.
Under the deal, Iran and the country of Oman will administer the strait, something that was not the case before the war. The waterway will reopen toll-free, but it's unclear if that will hold when the 60 days runs out. In return for reopening the strait, Iran will see immediate financial relief. For the first time in years, the U.S. lifting restrictions, allowing Iran to freely sell oil.
So what are your thoughts on the deal? I know that you approved when President Trump was going to go into Iran, but what are your thoughts on how it's shaping out to be?
Yeah, I was a supporter of the war in Iran when we got started. Unfortunately, I think the lack of planning and the lack of forethought of what would happen next is bad. But what really gets me now is that the blockade that Trump had put on Iran was working. We were crippling their economy. I think we were a short time away from really getting a much better deal. But the president just wanted to get out of it. And the problem now is we've given them everything. We've given them a total relief of all sanctions, which is unheard of. We're going to give them billions and billions of dollars. We promised them up to $300 billion to rebuild what we destroyed. And they haven't promised to stop funding terrorist proxies around the region. They haven't promised to get rid of their ballistic missiles. And they haven't agreed to do anything about their nuclear weapons. And Trump's even come out and said, maybe we'll just leave the nuclear stuff there, as he calls it, nuclear dust. I don't understand it. I think a lot of Republicans don't understand it, and I don't see how this is a win for the United States.
And Attorney General Chris Mays expressed disappointment yesterday over the law enforcement budget in the recently passed state budget. She says there's been a 2.5% decrease in funding. Mays says Arizona legislature can't claim to be pro-law enforcement if the cuts on their funding. So after hearing from Warren Peterson and knowing what we know about Chris Mays, what do you think about this whole debacle and what's really going on?
Well, I asked Warren Peterson about that just right here on the Mike Broomhead Show a little bit ago, and he said we didn't cut law enforcement, we cut the budget for the Attorney General's office, but he also agreed later that the Attorney General's office is law enforcement. It's the largest law enforcement and the leader of the law enforcement community in Arizona. So, I asked Warren, if you're the Attorney General next year and the legislature doesn't like something you do and they start cutting your budget, are you going to be okay with that? And he kind of said, well, I won't do what she did. But that's a really dangerous precedent. What the Attorney General does, we may disagree with some political things she does, but the vast majority of what the Attorney General's office does is help Arizona, help our consumers, help our elderly, protect people and consumer rights, and is the largest law enforcement officer in the state. That's dangerous, and I don't like seeing the politics enter into cutting law enforcement budgets. This is not good for Arizona. All right, you're listening to Did You Hear This? We bring you the biggest stories of the day. What else do we have, Patricia?
So in the trial for the alleged killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Luigi Mangioni's legal team now appears to be switching tactics for his defense. Here's more from ABC's Sophie Flay.
The defense is now claiming Mangioni was suffering an extreme emotional disturbance and was not in control of himself. The judge ordered Mangioni's lawyers to turn over his psychiatric records. If the jury agrees with the affirmative psychiatric defense, Mangioni could be convicted of the lesser crime of manslaughter, which carries a 25-year maximum sentence, instead of murder, which could result in a life sentence.
So I thought, since we have Barry in here, let's ask him a little legal question. What do you think about the defense change in this case? Will it really help after everything we've already known about Mangioni?
It could help, but it's a very high bar to get that sort of finding from the court and from the jury. So they'd really have to show pretty strongly that the psychological component of it made him unaware of what he was doing, I think, to get that. I don't know. I haven't seen the psychological records yet. I don't know what that shows. You could argue that anybody who commits murder has a psychological problem at some point, but that's not how this works. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. Obviously, somebody who commits cold-blooded murder like he did, you would hope that they would have to suffer the consequences of the highest charge and not manslaughter. I hope this doesn't change anything. But I will tell you that the courts and the legislators and the Congress have really restricted how often you can use a psychological defense like that and made it very, very difficult. So if it works, it's because he really, really had some pretty major psychological problems. I also want to point out, by the way, that reporter is Sophie Flay. That's Bobby Flay's daughter.
I did not know that.
I just heard her. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And finally, a little lighter, fun question here. Well, it's not so light, I guess. Waymo is recalling thousands of its self-driving vehicles because of the software. It may send the cars where they shouldn't be driving.
4,000 Waymo vehicles running the fifth-generation automated driving system are being recalled because the software might cause the self-driving vehicles to go through closed construction zones. According to a recall report, the vehicle might enter and drive at speed in freeway construction zones because the cars are failing to recognize the construction zones, or the cars are prioritizing avoiding other freeway hazards. Waymo first identified the problem after 6 incidents in Phoenix, and later there were 7 more in San Francisco. Waymo is currently working on a remedy and has restricted its vehicles from freeway driving. Alex Stone, EBC News.
So, have you ever had a scary Waymo experience? Have you ever ridden in one?
I haven't ridden in a Waymo yet. It doesn't actually come to my house. It comes like a block and a half away, so it doesn't work for me. But I've heard good things about it. But I'm laughing because I'm just picturing like a movie where you're in a Waymo and it's just running through a construction barricade, and you're like, stop.
There was one not too long ago with a video of a woman in Chandler. They were stuck at the intersection. It was just there, and cars were just coming at it. So I don't know.
We've got a lot to learn with these automated cars and just the stuff that it brings on there. But I learned recently, for example, that when the sun is blinding you and you're driving sometimes right into the sun and you can't see, the cars, when they're doing the same thing, they can't see. And that's scary. So a car's driving for you and it can't see any more than you can see. Look out. So
would you ever take a Waymo ride?
I would take a Waymo ride, yeah. I think I would do that. I think they're already restricted in Arizona, not on the freeways and certain speeds. But yeah, I would try that out. It's I guess the question is, would you rather risk the Waymo or whoever you happen to get as an Uber driver, right? That's the difference. But
my answer is no Waymo.
No Waymo.
No Waymo. No Waymo mo.
All right, there you have it. Did you hear this? Thank you, Patricia. Good stories there. On the other side, we'll get an update from the KTAR News Center here, and then the deal has been signed. We are at a ceasefire, I guess, extended the ceasefire with Iran. What did the U.S. get? What did Iran get? We will break it down for you. And what are the Republicans in Congress saying about it? I'm Barry Markson, in for Broomhead. It's KTAR.
Hey, it's Bruce and Gatos, and we're outspoken against hunger. All June, we're helping St. Mary's Food Bank. Yep, so for the month of June, text the word food to 620-620 and make a donation. Every dollar donated provides enough food for 5 meals. Here's our goal. You ready? We want to provide 500,000 meals for Arizonans. And don't forget, St. Mary's Food Bank provides millions of pounds of food to a network of more than 600 partner agencies all across Arizona. It's the march to 500,000 meals. And you can join by texting FOOD to 620-620. That's FOOD to 620-620 and make your donation now. Outspoken against hunger with Bruce and Gatos, benefiting St. Mary's Food Bank.
Message and data rates may apply.
For nearly 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and right from home. If your child struggles in a traditional school setting, Primavera Online can help. We serve Arizona K-12 students with flexible, personalized learning that fits every student's needs. See how Primavera can help your family today. Don't wait. Enroll now at ChoosePrimavera.com. That's ChoosePrimavera.com.
He's a former coach with 2 sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right, that's real important, the golf game. Right, as we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body, to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics regenerative medicine is regenerating me, all natural, and that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-PAIN. That's 602-837-PAIN. 602-837-PAIN.
At Earnhardt Hyundai North Scottsdale, we're making this 4th of July worth the drive. Whether you want low financing or holiday savings, our bonus cash bonanza has a deal with your name on it. Lock in 0.99% APR for 60 months on a new 2026 Sonata or Tucson. Or go with a 2026 Tucson Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid at 1.99% for 60 months. Ask about $3,000 in total savings on the Palisade Calligraphy or XRT Pro. And every Hyundai is backed by Hyundai Assurance, America's best warranty, with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Your deal is waiting. Visit EarnhardtHyundaiNorthScottsdale.com before July 6th and make it yours.
Offers require Hyundai Motor Finance credit approval on select 2026 models. About per thousand financed is $1,710 for 0.99% APR and $1,706 for 1.99% APR for 60 months. 0.99% excludes hybrid models. Savings vary by model and cannot be combined. Expires July 6, 2026. See dealer for details.
LaDonna here. There are several ways you can go about selling a home, and a lot of those ways include a whole lot of work on your part. What if you could avoid that? What if you had Orchard on your side? A lot of home sellers just get one offer, and it's never enough. With Orchard offers, you don't get one offer. You get multiple cash offers from serious investors, and they are competing for your home. If they're competing, does that mean more money in your pocket? Well, here's how it works. An Orchard agent submits your home to an exclusive network of local cash buyers. They compete to buy your home. You are the one who picks the winner. Imagine that. No repairs, no showings, no settling for way less than you should. Get started. Get a free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Most people wait to replace their AC because of the price tag. But here's the math nobody mentions. A new high-efficiency unit from Parker & Sons starts cutting your energy bills the day it's installed. And with no payments until 2027, you're saving on energy all summer before you've spent a dime on the brand new unit. No interest, no payments, no stress. The offer ends June 30th, so call 602-2-REPAIR for your free quote. That's 602-2-REPAIR.
Get to Chase Field for the D-backs Twins game on Saturday, June 20th, and pick up the Gabriel Moreno soccer jersey, courtesy of Wendy's. Get tickets now at dbacks.com.
KTAR News now.
Good morning. It's 11:32. I'm Patricia Valencia. After months of conflict, the United States and Iran have signed a 14-point memorandum of understanding that extends a ceasefire between the two countries. ABC's Stephen Portnoy joined Arizona's Morning News to explain what was exactly in the memorandum.
It frees up Iran to sell oil in the global marketplace. It creates, over time, a $300 billion fund for development in Iran. It has the U.S. over time unfreezing assets, and it has Iran's reaffirming it will not procure or develop nuclear weapons.
The president formally signed the deal while attending the G7 summit in France. And authorities have released the identity of the man whose body was found on South Mountain Park and Preserve in Phoenix earlier this week. According to police, 78-year-old Michael Jules Goldberg died after suffering from a medical event. Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office will make the final determination about a cause of death, but as of now, there are no signs of foul play. And monsoon season has begun, hopefully ushering out some of the current wildfire risk as the Rock Canyon and the Dellenbaugh fires burn in northern Arizona. Former KTAR reporter and wildfire expert Jim Cross joined Arizona's Morning News and says that while rainfall can lower wildfire risk, monsoon season brings its own challenges.
The problem with it, at least initially, is the wind and the lightning.
Right.
And, the rains will come later and hopefully knock out this wildfire season, what's left of it.
He says the state could see between 2 and 4 more weeks of elevated wildfire risk. And Maricopa County Senior Communications Officer Ron Coleman tells Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos, Arizona has been using AI-powered cameras to spot wildfires for over a year now.
These cameras detect smoke far earlier than most people can see it. It knows the shapes. AI is able to think through the shapes, the thoughts, and figure out and make sure that it's not just a guy driving down the dirt road. It figures out that it is smoke. When AI alerts that smoke, it alerts an actual human being who then reviews it to make sure.
Coleman says AI reduces the response time by hours or even days in some cases and may be used to help firefighters more in the future. And State Senate President Warren Peterson, currently running to be Arizona's next Attorney General, recently said he would work to deport anyone in the U.S. here illegally if elected. It's raising questions on Arizonans part of the DACA program.
Peterson's opponent in the Republican primary is longtime military prosecutor and former Tucson City Council member Rodney Glassman, who told the Face-Off on Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos.
My job as Attorney General is going to be to support
President Trump securing the border. President Trump and the feds secure the border. My job as Attorney General is when illegals come across the border.
Glassman did not specifically say whether he would aim to deport any DACA recipients. The conversation also included Ricardo Reyes, the executive director of Vets Forward, saying of the situation,
"There's a lot of people that are not DACA who came here undocumented, and then were able to fix their status and are now here legally. Some of them became citizens, some of them are just residents. There's a lot of people who had that journey."
Brandon King, KTAR News.
And now for a check on traffic from the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center. Watch for a crash south of downtown past the split. That's going to be on the northbound side of the I-17 near 7th Street. And also watch for some slowing on the westbound side of the Loop 101 Agua Fria Freeway near 35th Avenue. And an earlier crash in Gilbert on Gilbert Road and Williamsfield Road has cleared. Drive safe on those valley roads. Today, mostly sunny skies, a high of 107. It's 95 degrees right now in Casa Grande. Triple-digit heat, zero stress. Homes 2X will buy your home on demand with a 100% full value guarantee, and you can stay rent-free. Sell your home at homes2x.com. I'm Patricia Valencia on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Surprise, staying or going? We'll have the latest tonight at 6 on Arizona's Evening News with Becky Lynn and me on the KTAR YouTube channel, on air, online, and the KTAR app.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the Mike Broomhead Show. I'm Barry Markson filling in. Thanks for being here, listening on KTAR. You can also listen on our app and also on the YouTube channel. I'm looking at myself now. This is amazing. I've been on radio for a long time, and this is not good for anybody. But I appreciate you listening, and if watching, good for you. Hey, Bruce and Gatos are going outspoken against hunger this June for St. Mary's Food Bank. It's a great cause. Every dollar provides 5 meals. Text food to 620-620 to donate and help us reach our goal of 500,000 meals. And I have to tell you, Gatos came on with me earlier and asked for us, the Broomhead Show audience, to make some donations. And one gentleman did, well, more than one did, but one, Jose Rivas, he donated $1,000. And he said, when I first came to this wonderful country, I was hungry. Thanks to all the sacrifices and blessings, I'm now able to help someone else. So thank you to Jose Rivas for making his $1,000 donation to St. Mary's Food Bank. And you can join us as well. Just text food, the word food, to 620-620, and just give whatever you can to help our neighbors who are having some difficulty getting some food in their stomach and their family's stomach. Hey, the deal is done. With the Iran war is over. Now, it's really just an extension of the ceasefire, which is what this is. And look, there's good news from that, right? Let's not act like everything here is bad. The good news is it's over. Gas prices, oil prices already dropping. We've already seen now the average price of gas in the United States has dropped below $4 for the first time since the war began. And we'll likely see continued reductions in that. And that's going to, I assume, will also result in some reductions to inflation, which had got over about 4.2% last month. So we're going to start to see some positive effects of this war being over. But the question is, why did we go to war in the first place? Now, I supported President Trump when we went to war in Iran. Iran's a bad actor. They do bad things in the world, bad things in the Middle East. And frankly, they've been an enemy of the United States for 47 years. So I thought if we could make the changes that the president called for at the beginning, if we could get a regime change, if we could take out their nuclear capabilities so they didn't have nuclear weapons, if we could take out their ballistic missiles, these are the things that President Trump said were our goals when it started, and I was fully supportive of that, and I defended it. I've been defending this war, and I've done it on air since this happened. But I have to tell you, this deal, I'm not seeing the benefit to the United States here. In exchange for Iran opening the Strait of Hormuz, and that's all they've done. That's all they've done. The United States is giving to Iran, unfreezing $24 billion and funding their economy, getting their economy back on track after the U.S. blockade had really crippled the Iranian economy. We are lifting all sanctions on Iranian oil and other things. Now, this has been going on since before the war. When Iran would sell oil before, these sanctions were in place, and they'd only sell them on the black market. They couldn't sell and make the transaction through many banking systems. So they had to sell at a discount. They were selling oil for less than market value because they weren't allowed to do it normally. Those are all those sanctions are gone now. So we're letting Iran back in. That by itself is $60 billion a year. In this agreement, it says that the United States will facilitate a $300 billion fund for Iran to rebuild and to build things in Iran. Not money for our allies in the region, not money for Qatar or Saudi Arabia or Israel or anybody else in this region who've been hurt by this, who've had things in their countries blown up. We're giving $300 billion to Iran to do this. So I have to ask the question, what did we get? And on top of that, the regime stays in place. We're giving them all sorts of money to strengthen them. There's not going to be a regime change. These people don't like the United States. They don't like Israel. We're completely throwing our ally Israel under the bus. The Trump administration has included Lebanon in this agreement, even though Israel is not a partner in this agreement. They weren't at the table. They didn't negotiate. They weren't a part of this. And the Trump administration is saying, hey, Israel, you're done. You have to stop in Lebanon. And I have to tell you something. Vice President Vance held a press conference today. He's being kind of thrown out there that this is being blamed for some of this, although it's him and Trump. I don't understand how it wouldn't be. And he went on to say today he basically attacked Israel and attacked Israelis who are being critical of this deal because it's so bad for Israel. Israel is not pleased with this at all. It puts Israel right at the peak of danger now. And he said that they should be careful about what they do, that Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation now, and that if I was in the cabinet of Israel or anyone else, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere else in the world. And he went on to just threaten Israel and anybody who wants to be critical of this deal to quiet down, which is not what we do with our friends, certainly, and our allies. And Israel was a partner in this war, but they're not a partner in this part of it. So I have to say, I'm listening to Republican senators, conservatives who support President Trump and supported this war like I did. And they're coming out, these are Republican senators, and they're coming out saying that this is the biggest, I'm quoting, the biggest blunder in U.S. foreign policy in decades. That's the word. They're saying that this is a debacle. They're saying that this is a humiliating defeat for the United States, and I don't understand why. And that's really the issue here is why did President Trump handle it this way? Iran was on the verge of collapse. The economy was going to be so bad they were going to run out of money. They couldn't pay their people. Inflation was sky high in Iran. You just had to hold on longer. And what Trump has said is the biggest thing for him is he was afraid about the economy. He's obviously concerned about the upcoming elections, and he didn't want to be Herbert Hoover. That's his quote. He was thinking about Herbert Hoover, who was president heading into the Great Depression in 1929, and he didn't want to be that guy. And I get it. But there were no signs that was coming. The stock market is at all-time highs. Employment is up. There's things, inflation is bad. I mean, there's things that aren't perfect in this economy, don't get me wrong. But we are not teetering on the brink of economic collapse. We are not teetering on the brink of a recession or depression. That's simply not the case. So it seems to me that, again, I'm listening to President Trump's own words when he said a couple weeks ago that he's becoming bored with what's going on in Iran, when he doesn't just want to deal with it anymore. He's getting frustrated. These are the sort of things that you just have to ask yourself, is this really – what do we do here? I don't understand why we went to war if this is the outcome that's okay. We got none of the things we wanted, and people will say, well, they opened the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz was open before we did this. So what's changed? What we've shown, in the worst part of this may be that we've shown Iran that they don't even need a nuclear weapon. Anytime they don't like what's going on somewhere in the world, all they have to do is say, we're shutting the Strait of Hormuz and limit the oil that comes out. And apparently the Western world and the United States and everybody else just says, oh, my goodness, give Iran whatever they want. It's a very dangerous precedent that we're setting here. It changed nothing. The regime is still in place. In fact, the people in charge in Iran now are more radical than they were the people that were there before. We're giving them hundreds of billions of dollars to fund their terrorists. We made no agreement with them that they can't fund Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis and everybody else that wreaks havoc in that entire Middle East area. And we didn't get rid of their ballistic missiles. We didn't change. Nothing's changed. Yes, we destroyed most of their Navy. Yes, we downed their aircraft, their pilot, their jets. Okay, but now they can build all that back. We're giving them the money to do that, and everything else is the same. Only now they know they're stronger, and they have the strongest weapon, which apparently is shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. This is not a good deal, and I hope in the negotiations more can come of this, but more than that, they still have all their nuclear capabilities. They still have the enriched uranium. They still have the ability to make a bomb and a weapon that can attack their neighbors and eventually the United States. This is not a good deal. And I say that, again, as a Republican, somebody who supported President Trump in the war. I don't know how anybody can look at this outcome and say this is a good result. All right, coming up, we're going to do the story roundup, a whole bunch of other stories throughout the day that Patricia and I will discuss. I'm going to give them to her and see what she's heard of. That's coming up next. I'm Barry Markson, in for Broomhead. Thanks for being here on a Thursday. It's KTAR.
Governors and gubernatorial candidates, members of Congress from back when Congress worked together, and members of Congress from today when they can't. This is Jim Sharp. Join me as I bring you political analysis and insight from the state's top names and those serving in our state's top offices on the AZ Political Podcast. Catch it on the KTAR YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. The AZ Political Podcast from KTAR News.
You always hear me say insist on the Bulldog because Bulldog security screens, they're tough. I say it every day. Security screens for your windows, your entry doors, your patio doors, even your full patio enclosure. Protect your home, protect your family. But there's an added bonus. It also helps cool your home off during the hot valley summers because Bulldog security screens provide double protection. They block out the scorching UV rays that heat your home very quickly so your home stays cooler longer. Keep your home safe with the barrier, but also comfortable by blocking out the heat. I say it every day. This is the best in the industry. It comes with a no break-in guarantee. The workmanship is second to none, and they're built exclusively right here in Arizona, the only ones that are custom built right here in our state. You can't beat the value, you can't beat the protection, and that peace of mind is second to none. BulldogSecurityScreens.com. That's BulldogSecurityScreens.com. Insist on the Bulldog, because Bulldog Security Screens, they're tough.
Do you use AI? Do your neighbors or colleagues? New Microsoft findings show how AI use is spreading across the U.S., highlighting where adoption is highest at both the state and county level. Microsoft President and Vice Chair Brad Smith has more.
Over 30% of working-age Americans are using AI, but while the U.S. leads in innovation, it ranks just 21st in global adoption, due in part to uneven use across the country.
The report highlights widening urban-rural gaps, but college towns like Williamsburg, Virginia, and Story, Iowa stand out, showing some of the highest AI usage rates globally.
As demand grows, AI will become a foundational technology, on par with the internet. It'll reshape how people learn and work. Closing the AI adoption gap will be key to ensuring its economic benefits are shared more broadly.
View the report and see how your state compares at aka.ms/USAI diffusion.
It's Gatos, and America is turning 250 years old. Independence from kings and tyrants. And today, independence from missing teeth, loose dentures, and hiding your smile. That's right, Aria Dental Implant Center gives you the freedom to eat what you love, smile with confidence, and enjoy life without worrying about your teeth. Aria Dental Implant Center is celebrating America's 250th birthday with an incredible deal. Celebrate America's birthday with the Gatos Red, White, and Blue promotion. You can get 10% off this month only. If you know someone you love who's been living with missing teeth, uncomfortable dentures, or a smile they're embarrassed by, now is the time. 10% off. Freedom to smile. Freedom to eat whatever you want. Aria Dental Implant Center is restoring smiles and changing lives. And helping you declare independence from missing teeth. AriaDentalImplantCenter.com. 10% off when you mention Gatos. Go to AriaDentalImplantCenter.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
KTAR,
News Flash.
At 11:49, I'm Patricia Valencia. This is what you need to know right now. New details on the ceasefire deal with Iran. Under the deal, Iran and the country of Oman will administer the strait. The waterway will reopen toll-free, but it's unclear if that will hold when the 60 days runs out. In return for reopening the strait, Iran will see immediate financial relief. And the U.S. Forest Service has shut down an area of the Tonto National Forest burning north of Globe and west of US 60. So far, the sycamore fire has burned some 1,600 acres and is 0% contained. The Forest Service says that section of the forest will stay closed until mid-July. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app.
Thank you, K2 Vision. That's what I said, and you will too. Hey, it's Jim Sharp, and if you struggle with distance vision and now you need those pesky readers, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution. Plus, you'll never have to worry about getting a cataract. After 150,000 lens procedures, the K2 Vision doctors know if RLE is right for you. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Schedule your free Zoom consult today at k2visionrle.com.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with the perfect plan to ensure everyone is well-fed and happy. Invite Venencia's to the table. Visit Venencias.com, and we'll take care of the rest. That's Venencias.com.
Is your better half moving on to greener pastures? Is brown just not your favorite color? Then join us Sunday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. for the Whitfield Nursery Garden Show. Good tips, great smiles, and fun colors. Yes, that's you. Hi, this is Brian from Whitfield Nursery. That's me. Join me Sunday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. We'll green up your garden, save your trees, chase off those pests, and save some water, and just have fun. That's the Whitfield Nursery Garden Show, Sundays from 7 to 9 a.m. on KTAR.
He's your Huckleberry. He's Mike Broomhead, and this is another Story Roundup.
He's your Huckleberry?
Yeah. Gotta whip you. We're rounding them up. That's
right.
what Story Roundup.
We're rounding them up. I rounded up a whole bunch of them here for you.
What do we
Patricia.
got?
Again, you ready? Here we got humans.
Some fun stuff.
This one is crazy. Did you see this? They've studied this now, that humans, if we're just left to our own devices, will walk counterclockwise.
What? I wonder why.
So they just studied these people. They put you out in a room and just in a big area and just watched people. You don't have to do anything. There's no job. And people will just, if you're just wandering, 80% of us will wander counterclockwise.
Do you think it has to do with gravity?
What?
Do you think it has to do with gravity? Like the pressure of gravity, the way that gravity,
You think it pulls us to the left?
The
gravitational
pull of the moon and all that stuff?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. Does that pull us to the left instead of the right?
I don't know. I'm just thinking it makes the waves move. Why not? Would it not make humans move?
No, it might make humans move. I just don't know why it's all one direction, but maybe that's the case. I don't know. That is very interesting. I'm going to pay attention now, and next time I'm just wandering about, I'm going to make myself go clockwise, go to the right, and see if I can make myself do it.
Which way do toilets flush?
Am I here or am I in Australia? I don't know. It's
it has to do with gravity.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's it then. All right. Maybe you're right. That could be.
I don't know.
All
Interesting.
Right. Did you see this other thing? It's the world's oldest living land animal. How old do you think the world's oldest living land animal is?
Let's leave Mike out of this. Just
wow!
I love Broomhead. Wow. He would appreciate that joke.
Mike, that was not me. I did not say that. Wow, my goodness.
I don't know how old.
194 years old.
Oh my gosh!
And this is where you say that's how old Mike looks. No, you see that's
that was you.
No,
I didn't go there.
I'm just reading the script you handed me. I don't know what to do here. Yes. This is incredible though. So this is kind of a crazy this animal.
What is it?
It's a where is it called here? It's a giant tortoise. They say a Seychelles giant tortoise. It's on the island of St. Helena, and it is a grown adult. It's been for 50 years, and now it's 194 years old.
194 years old.
That is old.
I would be done.
Do you want to live? Do you want to live to be like 100? Do you want to have?
I would love to have a long life, but not 194 years old.
Not 194.
But maybe upper 80s around there. I don't know.
I've seen some people who are 100 and they're still walking around and doing their.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I have quality of life, I would love to do it.
Definitely, I agree.
That's the question. All right, did you see this? You do the lottery. Do you bet on the lottery? Do you buy lottery tickets?
From time to time.
And so somebody bought one of the tickets, and they won $1 million.
Ooh, good
$1 million, and then threw it away.
Did they not know?
No.
Okay, I hope not, because that would be stupid.
She was this woman in North Carolina. She was preparing to throw out a scratch lottery ticket when she decided to scan it instead, and she discovered that it was a $1 million winner.
Wow.
She almost threw it out. She was that close to just tossing it.
She's double lucky.
And then she scanned it and did that. And it was, why would you do that before you scan it?
I know, right?
So you just assume you're going to lose. You're literally just throwing the money in the toilet.
Why would you do that?
I mean, you got to at least think there's a chance you could win something. That would have to be something like that.
Well, good for her. I'm going to go play the lottery now.
You know,
Inspired
one of the things I love about Arizona is we don't have the tornadoes. We don't have the hurricanes. We have the haboobs and the monsoons, but none of these, no earthquakes.
Yeah.
And the other things we don't have alligators.
Yes, that's a big plus not to have alligators.
And we've seen that in Florida, right? The people, alligators
Mike talks
show up.
about that all the time.
Right, yeah, Mike's from Florida. And then,
scary.
So in South Carolina now, a resident there found an alligator posted up right at his front door. Just posted up waiting for him.
Those are the things I'm not down for.
Can you imagine opening your front door and there's an alligator just standing there?
No, I can't.
Holy moly.
I would say, see you later, alligator, and close the door right in his face.
If you have any sort of a heart condition, that might be the end of it right there. That might just do it for you right
Florida's not for me.
Florida is not for you. Mosquitoes and humidity and
the
alligators.
Everglades, they're outmatched.
It is a crazy, crazy thing. All right, Patricia, thank you so much for letting us come in here, letting me come in here and sit in for Mike today. And hopefully I didn't do too much damage here. I'll clean up before I leave, I promise. And thank you to everybody back there, Paul and Griffin, for running the big program, and everybody in the KTAR News Center for taking care of us here at KTAR. It's I got to tell you, I wish you guys could see this. Everybody we have in the News Center running around, getting you news, bringing you up to date on what's happening locally, nationally, and internationally here at KTAR. Stay tuned. More to come live and local here on KTAR. I'm Barry Markson, in for Broomhead. Have a great Thursday, everybody. It's KTAR.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos and your Valley Toyota dealers, we pay tribute to a teacher. Teachers unlock the doors to possibility. They transform lives with patience and a passion that knows no boundaries. So join us by texting the word teacher to 620-620. Nominate a deserving teacher for a $2,500 bonus. Pay tribute to a teacher is brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Message and data rates may apply.
Scorpions don't hate you. Ain't got the brains for hate. What they got is a tail full of bad intentions. Been living in this desert since the dirt was new. Think they got squatters' rights to your laundry basket.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Scorpions may have squatters' rights to the desert, but not to your property. Call 602 Blue Sky today. Real pest science, real protection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, scorpions.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We watch these lawyers get on TV and say they're going to treat their clients like family when we know they put secret mandatory quotas on their lawyers. That means your own lawyer pressures you into a premature, terrible result. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. We don't set settlement quotas. We measure success by achieving each client's best outcome and by each client's happiness.
Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Hi, I'm Javier Soto.
Arizona is our home. And at ABC 15, we believe local news should help you understand it